everybody. Welcome to the 20-minute cooking school. Anybody else notice that the iPhones are super slow right now? Is there something that I'm missing? Actually, I'm going to try moving this a little bit more like, I couldn't get, I don't know, everything I do on my iPhone is like crazy slow today. Welcome to the 20-minute cooking school. This is Claire Tansey's Kitchen. I am Claire Tansey, if you can imagine. And today we're doing one pot vegetarian weeknight meals. It's actually going to be vegan in the end because we're using coconut milk. So when I asked a bunch of you what you wanted to see, there was a lot of requests for one pot vegetarian, easy weeknight kind of stuff. So doing something a little bit different this week, which is, you know, normally I kind of base each little of our little episodes, our little time together. I base each one on like a lesson more than a recipe. So like last week it was how to make tofu delicious, and we actually made that delicious tofu, which a lot of you made. Well, I'm so excited. I hope you loved it. We loved it. We scarfed it down. It was so good. Made it 2 times since then. So this week instead, I'm going to base the lesson on a recipe, and so the tips are going to come fast and furious. There's going to be tons of tips about like how to make vegetarian food taste good, like give it that richness, and as well just a million easy recipe tips. So I have got coconut curry, braised chickpeas, and greens. It's a lot. This started out because I wanted to figure out a way to use this stuff. It was on sale one week and I was like, oh, you know what? Like that seems like a good idea. So that's like a 284 gram bag. Also, I'm working on a story for the Toronto Star right now. 9 ways to use one of these babies. 9 ways to use a can of chickpeas. So this is going to be one of them. And this is really a riff off of an old recipe from the kitchen, which is one of my favorite spots for recipe inspiration. But, you know, what am I doing? I'm waiting around here. We only have 20 minutes. Hey, Jen. Hi, Anusha. Nice to see you. Let's get started. So I actually already started this because these onions take about 10 minutes to cook. So let me just show you what I've started here. So I'm starting off this beautiful recipe by slowly sauteing onions in a little bit of canola oil in my big pan. So, oh, that is hot. That be hot. So, oh yeah. So, if you've ever heard the expression sweat to sweat onions, that's what that is. So it's a kind of a gentle but assertive cook. And you can see that they're getting kind of translucent and soft. So they're not getting brown. They're getting a little tiny bit tinged with gold. And that, what I do, the way you do that, the way that is a good way to remember how to sweat something is it takes salt. So that was a bit of canola oil and chopped onion, low heat, and a pinch of salt in there. If you use salted butter, you don't have to add that pinch of salt. But if you're just using canola oil, add that pinch of salt because that helps the onion to really break down and do that, like get translucent. You know, there's nothing worse than coming across a crunchy onion in a dish. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? So guys, let me know while you're with me how you feel about this new format, doing a recipe as opposed to like a lesson. And of course, if there's anything you want me to explain, to add, or something else you'd like me to do. I'm going to mince in, now that these onions are nice and soft, I'm going to squeeze in, you remember my dear friend garlic press from earlier episodes. So just a clove, maybe 2, actually that wasn't very much. Clove or 2 of garlic. And then I'm going to add a little bit of ginger, because this is sort of step 1 of making vegetarian food taste really good, and especially if you're doing like something on the like a weeknight and you don't have a ton of time, you gotta add sort of layers of flavor. So layer of flavor 1 is those onions being slowly cooked so that they get a kind of a lovely, soft, luscious, subtle. I will post the recipe, Jen, but the onions get nice and soft and solid. Yeah, the recipe will be up on my site, so don't worry about having to write everything down. This is just so you get to see what it looks like. So onion, garlic, ginger is like, it's a triumvirate of power when it comes to flavor. Never wrong, always right. You can play with those things a little bit, but it's just a great flavor combination, especially when you're not adding anything like cheese for lack of a better ingredient, or meat, which typically have a lot more kind of umami flavor. Now, I don't know if I've ever shown you this, but this is my little horseradish grater, but it's so good for ginger. Have you seen this guy? Have I shown you this guy before? It's a little ceramic horseradish grater, and it's all spiky in along there. And man, does it do a job on ginger. Hot tamales! Look at this. It obliterates ginger, which I love. And it gets it really nice and fine and without any effort at all. So all of that beautiful stuff now is going to go in the pot. Oh yes, I do love ginger. I do. But it's not always the most fun to chop, especially when you got to chop it really finely. Okay, so then talk about adding flavor. Now, gang, what the heck? This is vegan, isn't it? Let's just check here. Is this stuff vegan? Anyone? Yes. It's beautiful, right? You find those at like Japanese shops anywhere. And I get mine. I'll post a link to where you can get them on Amazon. It's not expensive and they're fantastic. I think this is vegan. Suitable for vegetarians. Vegans, if you're uppity about stuff like that, and use your curry paste of choice. So I'm going to use this curry paste. This is mild. Why I have mild curry paste? Mystery. I only really ever buy hot. But this stuff is a game changer when it comes to curries. And I'm going to add a nice big ginormous one of those into the pot. Into the pot. So if you're just joining us, it is Claire Tansy's kitchen. It is a 20-minute cooking school. We are making vegetarian, one-pot, easy, weeknight, delicious, packed with all kinds of incredible ingredients. This actually is going to be vegan in the end. So I've got this. Oh man, the curry paste just gets stirred in like that. Smells divine. Divine. Basically, you can put curry on a shoe and I'll eat it, right? Like, I don't think I've ever found an application of curry that I don't like. Dare me. Okay, so as I said, this is the bag of kale, pre-chopped kale. I got nothing against chopping kale. You know that. I don't mind a good chop, but it is the weeknight, and I need something in the pot cooking immediately. So, the first time I ever made this, I used the entire bag. Too much. Is there such a thing as too much kale? Why, yes, as a matter of fact, I'm so glad you asked. There is. We're going to use half of it, which I think is about 4 packed cups, but I will measure it and put it into the recipe when I put it up on the website. Now, huge important tip about cooking kale. This is massive. If you are cooking kale, do not think of it like broccoli or chard or peas or any of those vegetables like sweet peas. You know how you want them to be tender, crisp? You do not want that with kale. You want kale to melt in your mouth. And so it is going to take like 10 minutes. So watch. So we got this going on here. Oh man. So in there is the ginger, the garlic, the onion, the curry paste, half a bag of that kale. And some of these pieces are like, look at, like that's a huge stem. So I'm going to add just a little splash of water. And then what I'm going to do here, and this is the main part of the work or the time that this recipe takes, is going to cover our friend here. Hot, hot. And then this has to braise. So this, I read that Chris Tansey was watching, one of my cousins, and I'm like, Claire Tansey is watching. But that's me. So yes, I am watching. Hi everybody. Hey Mike Cullen. Hey Sarah Liss. How are y'all? We are vegetarian, vegan, one pot action. And I was just about to go on again about how kale needs to be cooked. Kale is in the cabbage family. So is broccoli. Broccoli has to be served tender crisp. But if you've ever had something like, the Italians do this so well. They do rapini done in garlic and olive oil. And it's just so tender and melty. Because it's sturdy enough though, it doesn't all like go to mush, it just goes to melt. So it's a really fine line, and I found that was a real game changer for me, both rapini and kale. You gotta cook the shit out of that stuff, like cook it, don't worry about overcooking it. So that is gonna cook very nice and slow. I've got this on sort of like medium low. I'm gonna give it a little look-see every now and then and give it a stir. that guy goes back. If you're not already using Patax or any brand of refrigerated curry paste, what are you waiting for? It's a game changer for weeknights. Now, then we will talk about chickpeas and coconut milk. Now, so chickpeas. So told you I'm working on this piece for the Star, 9 ways with chickpeas, 9 things you can do with a can of chickpeas. Been eating a lot of chickpeas this week. Would love to know what your favorite way with chickpeas is. One of my favorites is just a simple curry. That actually I put a simple chickpea cauliflower curry in the book. Uncomplicated, October 2nd this year. And guys, we're getting close to being able to see the cover. So very excited. Can't wait to be able to show you the cover once it's done. Oh, hey Bonnie, the countertop is quartz. Beautiful quartz. And I know you're anxious to get a tour of my kitchen, and I just keep cooking. I just never do that tour. So yeah, chickpeas. What is your favorite thing to do with a can of chickpeas? I've got my 9 ways, I think, pretty solid down. I should hope so, because I'm going to photograph them tomorrow. You know, I like to mix it up. I mean, I like a curry. I like a hummus, of course. I like a strainer if I could find one. You know, chickpea salad, falafel, all those great things. Roasted chickpeas. Yes, I'm going to do some roasted chickpeas. Hey, Olivia, come over if you want. The front door's open. If you want some braised greens and chickpeas. So, I never buy the low salt ones anymore. I used to do that all the time. But hot tip, low salt chickpeas don't have a lot of flavor. I know. You're surprised, since that's the same thing I say every single week. Salt brings flavor. So, but I do rinse them. And that rinses off, I can't remember if it's about 40% of the sodium on there. But anyways, we're learning more and more in the nutrition world that sodium isn't nearly as bad as we thought it was for our health. Shall we take a look at our kale? Yeah, let's see here. So this is just braising quietly away. And you can see it's already considerably more tender. And in fact, it's that beautiful emerald green. And I will tell you right now, it is not ready. It is not ready yet. Okay, braise away, my darling. It's gonna have to get dark green, and that's how you know that it's really, really tender. You remember last week I was talking about tofu and how extra firm isn't my favorite. Maybe I was gonna say something and you were all gonna go crazy. I was gonna say, I really don't like hard things. But that's not true. And anyway, I'm not having this conversation anymore. Chickpeas and coconut milk, Indian spices and tomatoes. So yes, Northern India. So this is very kind of Northern Indian, but with a Claire Tansey spin on it. Ish. So don't buy low salt chickpeas. I mean, I don't care. Buy whatever kind of chickpeas you like, whatever's on sale, right? And then coconut milk. You'll be shocked to hear, not, that I don't believe in low-fat coconut milk. Wow. Claire, really going off brand this week. No, guys, low-fat coconut milk was the thing, but now we know that it's the regular fat coconut milk has so much more flavor, brings so much more luxurious, creamy, beautiful texture to a dish that it's just use full-fat coconut milk. And also, it's going to be more satisfying, and you're not going to need to eat as much. And also, oh, I'm sorry, you're getting 4 cups of kale here. I think your health is covered. Whew. I was on City Line this morning, hence the lashes. Also, I really desperately need a haircut. It is 4:15. We have 5 minutes, which gives me time to say that in the original recipe, like I told you that this was sort of inspired by a recipe from the kitchen, that website associated with apartment therapy. And they serve theirs in a baked sweet potato, which sounded quite good. Now, I've done this over rice or just in a bowl. Or, you know, yesterday I just ate a whole bunch of it out of the pot with a spoon. So kind of up to you. Rice, noodles, in a baked potato, in a sweet potato. But I do recommend eating it kind of tonight. Not the best leftovers, and that's why I went to the half bag instead of using like the full bag. Because the leftovers, how do you say it nicely? They're a little whiffy. Si tu me comprends, if you know what I mean. A little bit whiffy. Okay, so let's just go back here. There we are. Okay, so things are getting considerably more tender. This is almost too hot. Let's turn that down a bit. There we are. Very soft. Nice and soft. This could easily go another 10 minutes. I probably won't let it go another 10 minutes since it's the 20-minute cooking school. And you can see the pan is also dry, so that water that I added there was just to get the kale sort of started. Okay, so now we add 1 can chickpeas, and yes, 1 entire can full-fat coconut milk. Make sure you get all that yummy fat out of there. Yum. So in here, onion, ginger, garlic, curry paste, kale, and coconut milk and chickpeas. So lovely, simple, easy. You can see how with the sauciness, it wants a little bit of something else to go with it. You know, you want like a little bit of rice or a little potato action, but really, you could also just add a 2nd can of coconut milk and call it soup. All right, so that's going to just come up to a boil, simmer, and then I'll just braise it. That's it. And then we've got braised chickpeas, coconut braised chickpeas, coconut curry braised chickpeas and greens. And that's 4:17, and guys, dinner is ready. Okay, I started the onion before you came on, but seriously, right? Like, so easy. Cooking doesn't have to be hard or take time to be delicious. You're gonna love this. So that is a vegetarian, easy, 1-pot meal. It is absolutely packed with fiber. It is vegan. It is, now, certainly you could serve this with some grilled chicken or something alongside, or some of that lovely crispy tofu we had last week. It was delightful as well. You know, over rice or noodles, or even, I mean, you could even go to polenta. That maybe feels a little bit weird. Or toast. So, don't forget that chickpeas are your friend when it comes to easy weeknight cooking. Something you should really always have in the fridge, either chickpeas or black beans or something like that. So guys, that is it for this episode of the 20-minute cooking school. We made a 1-pot vegetarian meal, and next week, which another big popular request, next week we're going to do stir fries. So we're going to talk about how to freestyle stir fry. So like, you know, no matter what protein, no matter what veg you have, I'm going to show you how to do like a kind of a master sauce and some kind of master principles on stir frying. So we are going to be having so much fun next week. Now let's get one last yummy look at my dinner, and maybe your dinner too. Look at it go. Oh, it's going to be so good. Look at that lusciousness and all that curry and chickpea and kale. Oh, absolutely divine. Now, one thing I forgot to mention, guys, when it gets to this point, season with salt. Taste and season with salt. The kale needs salt, the coconut milk needs salt, the chickpeas need salt. So you're going to have to add quite a bit of salt, possibly like at least a half a teaspoon. But add some and then taste it and then move on. Me and my oven mitt saying goodbye. Oh, I didn't show you that we currently have no hood here. We have no range hood. I'm hoping by next week we'll have a new one. Yeah, so I'm just cooking with the window open. I hope that's all right. Thank you everybody for tuning in. This has been the 20-minute cooking school. I am Claire Tansey. Send me your favorite chickpea recipes and any more of your questions and suggestions about what you want to see on the 20-minute cooking school. Cooking doesn't have to be complicated to be delicious. Love y'all. See you next week.